Hey everyone, Sergey here, and in this video I want to just share some of the things that I've been working on last couple of weeks. And I've created some new tools. I've updated our existing tools at Ukramedia.com. So this video just me talking about all the new tools and changes. And if you are a part of our mentoring group, you've probably seen something like this on there. I did create a video showing you some of these tools. So if you're not a part of that group, you should definitely join. It's a free group to everyone. It's a Facebook group. You can go to Ukramedia.com/community. I'll make sure to include the link at the bottom of this video. That group in itself has like 6,000 plus people. And we have some legends, some heavyweights of this industry, and they're eager to teach you. And we have people that are eager to learn. Remember, it's a mentoring group. It's a group where you literally help each other. So yeah, you should definitely go there. All right, well, let's talk about some of the tools. Now, let me minimize this real quickly. Something like that, put it in the corner. So right here, we have some scripts that I've created called, smart something, smart anchor, smart animator. It's just a brand that we're sticking with. So let's talk about the first one, smart anchor. Now, just looking at it, you can pretty much figure out that it has to do something with the anchor. So for example, if you have some kind of an image that I got from Pixabay, and then maybe you have some text, maybe another text out here, you get the idea. So maybe you have some stuff and you want to select all of them. And what if you want to put the anchor point at the top right corner for all of them? Now, you don't want to do it, one by one. That takes you a long time, but you can select them and then go to smart anchor, and you can just say, boom, like this. You can put them anywhere you want to. And it's that simple. It doesn't apply any expressions. It just does it automatically. But I did create this button right here called, or I guess it's just a code button. It applies an expression. So watch this. For some cases, you do want to have an expression. So especially when you create mogurts. So let's say you created something like this, 1, 2, 3, and then you went over here to smart anchor and you placed it at the bottom right corner. Right? Then you realize, hey, I need to say 4. And then before you know it, like the anchor shifted. It's not over here. So you do want to have an expression in some cases. And for that, I built this button right here. So you say, hey, put it in the bottom right corner and stay there. So now if I type 4, 5, 6, there you go. You can see it's going to be holding on to that anchor right here. It's not going to be shifting it anywhere. So you can switch it at any time. You can say, hey, let's do it top or bottom left. And then now it's going to be typing like that. So you get the idea. It's very handy. So if you want the feature with the code, if you're creating stuff, then you can use it. If you don't need it, you can just don't select this. The beautiful thing about these options, let me do this. Well, actually, yeah. So let me get rid of this. Let me start over. Let's type something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to be using another script, but I'll talk more about it, but just quickly like that. So it animates the text based on in and out points. So we're going to do in and out points right here. So watch this. It animates it in like that. Boom. Now, these buttons for the anchor, especially if using the code. So right now, well, you don't have to use the code. Let's not use the code. So what if you want to put the anchor point at top left? So if I do it based on where it's at, top left, boom, you can see when I move, it shifts, right? Because it's set to time, current time. Now, if I set it to top left now, right here, boom, and then I shift, you can see it does it basically wherever your time indicator right now. Now, if I set it to in point, then it's going to do it based on the in point of a layer, wherever the top left corner is, so right here. So those things come in very handy. As you can see, that one's for the out because out point is way out here. So you kind of get the idea. This is for the middle, wherever the middle point. So I'm going to say the middle of this in and out right here. Put it in the center of that, and that's what it does. So it sounds a little confusing, but this comes in very handy for like a code especially. So if you lock it in on the, well, you'll see it when you lock it in like on the right side. You can say, hey, do it based on not when it's animated, because right now it will move with it. Well, it doesn't. Hold on, let's see. Why isn't it moving? Oh, because I said it based on in. So if I set it on time, the anchor point will kind of lock it in. So it does like a weird animation. But if you say based on in point, and boom, it will allow to do the animation. Anyway, So this comes in handy. I'll talk more about what it does in the future videos, but you kind of get the concept here. So that's Smart Anchor. It has all these advanced features and some basic ones as well if you just want to do basic. But if you are building something like a MoGrid for Premiere, these options will come in very handy. So that's Smart Anchor. Let's move on. Then we have Smart Animator. Again, if you have text, you've seen me do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get the idea. So now we have this text and I want to animate this based on in and out point, something like that, right? Then I can select this, go to animator and just click this button, boom, it animates it right away. It animates it in, but we have more options. Again, we can adjust options in here, but I like using this right here because we can go to duration, say, hey, right now it takes about a second on both ends to animate in and out. You can increase it maybe like 3 seconds. It's a bit much, but let's see what that looks like. So as you can see, it's really, we need to extend it a bit more. It's really going to take its time, right? So you get the idea. So let's go back to 1 second and boom. So that's what it does based on, so right now it does it based on words. So you can say, hey, let's do characters. And now it's going to do it based on characters. Super handy. But then the out right here, it does it on words. So we have like in and out. So in, the out and in, you get the idea. So for the out, let's do like characters as well. And then now it animates in characters, out. Very simple. Let's take it back to words. Boom. At any point, you can adjust and it will instantly give you that result. So we can go to animation. We have some options. So right now you can see it starts like at the left corner right here, moves to the right. But if I switch it, it's going to start at the right, moving to the left. So now it's going to do like this. In some cases, this comes in very handy. I'll show you here shortly. And then the same thing for out. You can reverse it. Boom. Yeah, that's what that is. You can also say randomize. Right now it does it, 1, 2, 3, but you can randomize it and then it's going to start it, at different, you can do different seed. You get the concept. So then we have, let's do this, position. So right now it starts at 100. So it goes to 100, but you can say, hey, let's do like 500 and apply this. So now it's going to start lower. Maybe you can even say, hey, let's do 300 on X, like that. So now it's going to start like this, right? Or maybe you can say negative 300 or 500. Apply, and then it starts like that. But see, now it looks weird. And that's where this comes in handy. You can just reverse it, boom, to where it starts differently. Anyway, that's why I built that feature in, because again, all of the things that you see me do, I'm doing it with one click. Before I would have to go into the text and the animator and adjust things in there. It takes you time after time after time. And yeah, this definitely saves you time. And by the way, it's using the native tools that you already have in After Effects. You can, right now it has position opacity, but you can add more in here, right? Or right here, and you can add like a rotation, all that jazz. I'm only holding on to position opacity because I find that that's pretty much all I use most of the time. Okay, then, you get the concept how you can change the position. We can say, hey, as you animate out, let's go, instead of up, let's go to the right. Is it negative 500? I always forget which one. Make sure you select this. There you go. Yeah. So again, I can reverse this order. I can go over here, boom, reverse it so it looks natural. Yeah. Then you can go to opacity. You can start it at 100% on both ends. You get the concept. And my dog is barking. You probably hear it, but I'm sorry about that. Then you do easing also. You can click on easing. You can do high and low. So in here, you can say, hey, let's go low and high on or basically 0 on high and 100 on low. And so now when it comes in, watch what happens. So it kind of snaps as it arrives, but it slowly starts animating on each letter or each word. But you can say, hey, let's be more rigid at first and then slowly arrive. So you can kind of reverse this. Anyway, so you can adjust easing on both in and out. So you get the concept. You can see everything you can do here. Very handy animator. And again, it does based on in and out points. And you can quickly, for example, let's do this. Let's do words. Let's go back to where we were. Position, instead of that, let's do like negative 150, or let's do 150. And then negative 150 here on Y, 0, and opacities, let's do 100%. And easing, let's do 85, and then all the way to 100. So boom, that's where we started. So something like this, and then it animates out. So again, very easy, and this animation will come in handy later on. All right, so let's talk about Smart Bounce. Let me get rid of this. Smart Bounce is very similar to Bouncer by Tim Thiessen. So I created a preset years ago called Smart Bounce and Drop, I believe, or something like that. It was a preset based on Dan Ebert's script or code that he wrote, expression. Basically, it either gave you a bounce or an elastic type effect. And eventually I converted into a preset. And then Tim came along and he created a script. And as we all know, Tim is no longer with us. But super talented guy. And he gave us that bouncer script that we all love. So I didn't want to compete with him. But I didn't want to get rid of the Smart and Bounce preset that I created. So I wanted to convert that into a script. So I just decided to just create a simple script with 3 buttons and like 1 button for each. And now when you do like a text, if you like rotate it, go over here, set a keyframe, go like 5, go to like 90, and something like this, you can quickly select the property and go to Smart Bounce right here and do elastic, and boom, it gives you like elastic fill. You can disable it, you can adjust all these controls, and then, you know, if you don't want that one, you can select this one right here and do the bounce back, and then here you go. Boom, it'll bounce back. You can control all of this stuff. So it's a very simple script. And essentially, again, I took the presets I already created. I didn't want to get rid of them because really there isn't a use for them anymore. But so I decided to convert them into a script called Smart Bounce. And it only has 2 buttons and I guess, about script button. So yeah, it's how easy it is. So that's Smart Bounce. Let's keep going with this. Now we have Smart Controls. If you've been following us for a while, you've heard of a script called Control It. It's the first script I've ever written myself. Tim helped me out. That's where I was learning how to do scripting with this Control It. But I kind of abandoned it, and I decided to pick it up and resurrect it, and I converted it into a Smart Control. So if you've purchased it in the past, then you get this one for free. And essentially what this one does, it's the same thing, but just smaller in UI. And it does support now the any properties like the effects properties or any shape properties. Before it was just transform properties over a layer, but now it can do just about anything except lights and camera. But look how easy it is. So you can type something like Ukramedia, and we have this text. We have all these properties, and you can convert any of these properties. Like for example, if I have anchor point and I want to split the X and Y, I can just go to Control It and click on this split, and then boom, it will split it and put it right on the selected layer. So right here, and now I can control the anchor point of X and Y. I can basically take all of them, right, and split all of them. Boom, it will put it in. Now you don't have to split it. You can select them and just say, don't split them, and boom, and they will kind of create duplicates. Now that comes in handy as you're creating like a control layer. For example, let me do this. So I'm going to create a new shape layer. We're going to call this one controls. And let's say, what if I want to take this property, that one, maybe all of them. And I want to, whatever layer select last. So I'm going to control select this one last and select this last layer selected. And then boom, it will automatically take all of those highlighted properties and create them in here. So now we have everything we need. We have rotation. It does support checkbox too, so it will actually create a checkbox. The only thing it doesn't support right now is the drop-down menu. So again, you can keep them together, or you can do the same thing. Let me undo this. You can select the same properties and apply it to that layer, and you can split them all, and then it will split them. So you can do it from grab properties from multiple layers. Anyway, it comes in very handy as you build controls, as you build mogarts. So that's what that one does. It's very simple to use. So that's called Smart Controls. Then we have Smart Mask. And for that, let's do this. We're going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to apply the animator. So just remember that animation. So in and out. So we have that animation. But watch this. This Smart Mask, if we go to it right here, look how easy it is to use. Just select the layer. You can do multiple and then click on this. Boom, it creates a mask that's the same size as your text layer or image. It works on any of them, but you can type anything you want. It will adjust. Not only that, it will go with your animation. If the time is selected. Time means it's just going to be animated value, right? Now, if you select the endpoint and select this, it's going to give you the mask based on the endpoint. So at endpoint, that's where the text is. That's what we get. If you set out point, now it went up because it goes up, right? But we have the middle point of the layer. So not the in, not the out, but the middle. If we do it based on the middle, boom, then it will stay static at that shape. And now we get something interesting. We get this interesting animation that can take you hours, or not hours, but take you some time to create, right? But with this, few clicks and you got it. Not only that, you can quickly, you can edit this. You can type anything you want. It will always work. And then you can duplicate this. And again, it's based on in and out points. So you can quickly edit these. You can maybe change it to something else, something like that. So yeah, anyway, you can create a very interesting video with all this cool looking text in no time. So right now you see like it's competing this text. So I can select this text and I say, hey, let's go to Smart Animator and we're going to reverse it at the in, right? Yeah, in. So now it will start right there instead of in here, right? So that comes in very handy. Anyway, so you can do all of these things in no time with these smart tools. So that was Smart Mask. You get the idea of how it works. It's very handy. Again, not only that, you can also adjust the margins. You can pull on them. You can adjust the feathering for the height and the width. Anyway, and then expansion. Yeah. I find this one very useful. That's why I created it, because I use it all the time. All right, let me get rid of all these. Select everything, delete. All right. So now we have this Smart Rect. Now, if you followed this channel, if you know what we do, you know a lot about Smart Rect, because this tool's been around for a long time and I find it very useful. So basically, just for those of you that don't know what it is, let me quickly show you what it is. You select any layers. It can be an image. In fact, let me show you. Here's an image. Let me size it down. You can select this and then create a shape based on where you want the anchor point to be. If you want to be at the top left, boom, then it creates an anchor. Even, see, the image does too, but it's parented. So let me unparent this. So you can see it creates the same image, right? So based on anchor point at the top, but then you can also click here and you say, hey, let's add some margin. Let's do like 2020, 2020. And then boom, you can select it and then it creates some margins. You get the idea. Now you also have other options. You can create mask. So if you do this, mask, and then if you select a layer, if it's not parented, right now, let me undo this. Right now it's set to parenting, but you can say don't. And then if you move it, you can see it's already automatically masked. So that can be very useful. Then you can also do, let me undo this, to where it automatically, based on the size of the text. So if you change the text, it will move with it. So yeah, I've used this so many times. I'm sure a lot of you have. I've created lower thirds in no time. And yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's already available. The only thing that's going to come out with this one, I did change the UI a little bit differently. And now you no longer need the assets folder as you're installing it. So that's the only thing I'm going to be changing in this version in the 3.3, but 3.2 is out. You can check it out. All right, that's Smart Rect. Let's keep going. Then we have Smart Size. Now this one's a new one and it might seem like a easy thing, but it saved me so many times. So for example, let's say we have a text. So we have one text and I'm sorry for, if I had more time, I'd type something out, but you know what? That's just another day. So let's say you have a bunch of text and in this example, we only have 3 and let's use a Smart Rect for this. Where's Smart Rect? There you go. If you don't have anything selected in Smart Rect and you create it basically creates a shape layer and you can use X and Y. I mean, this thing is handy, right? So you can kind of control it. So I'm going to do this. Let's select the X. Okay, so we're going to need the X. And so here's what I'm trying to create. So what if I have a bunch of different text? And what if I want for the width of this to follow the longest text? How can I make that happen? Well, with Smart Size, don't confuse it for sizer, it's size. If you don't have anything selected and you click on it, it creates a new shape layer and it has some controls. Essentially, it's just a reference. And right here it says, hey, grab the layers that are starting with, the name starts with underscore, plus, or any of these, whatever you select. I'm going to say underscore. And I want to grab the local size and I want it in pixel value. If you change it to scale, you'll see scale value or percentage. So Pixel value is what I want. So now whatever layer that I tag with underscore in front of it, that's what's going to be added in. So now, as you can see, I added one. So I'm going to go over here. It gives me a reference for X and Y of that layer. So I can just, boom, do like this. As you can see, the first one is tagged. Then as I add tag more, that one's going to go with well, let me do this one because it's smaller. Okay. So let's tag this one. Boom, it goes to that. Let's tag with the underscore that one. And there you go. Now let's say, what if this one right here, the long one, what if it has a some kind of shape layer or something, and it's parented to it, and this thing, as long as it's at 100, you're going to get the correct size. But if it's not, if it's like 100 something, then it just doesn't work. But you need to go over here and say, hey, instead of local, give me global size. Boom, and then it works. So it doesn't matter what you have before that, it will always refer to the global size. So that's handy. And again, you can add as many text layers as you want. It will always adjust. As long as it has the tag, the proper tag, you can scale it. I mean, it's super handy. I can already see all kinds of stuff. Now, this has to do with, if you don't have anything selected, it will create a smart size plus. But if you have a text selected or any text, by the way, let me do this. Let me show you. It's not just limited to text. You can also bring in any kind of images. And as long as you tag it, it will include the image as well, right? It will also include the image. And not only that, you can also go to the margin, or right here to the shape layer, and you can have like a width margin to where it always maintains like a certain margin. So as you animate things, it will always stay with it. Very handy. I find it very handy. So that's if you don't have anything selected. Again, smart size, it will create this shape layer with all these things. And again, you can have advanced options. You can do it based on give me the maximum value, then you can say minimum value. But if you have just a single text and you want to grab the width and the height of it, you can just simply just select the text and then do, where's that, smart size, boom. And it will just give you the same thing, but individually, right? It'll give you the width and height of this layer. Then you can use it for a template, whatever you're using. Very handy. I find it very handy. And again, in the future, I'm going to do more tutorials on how I use these and how those, like all of these tools are saving me a lot of time so that I can go home and see my children. That's very important to me. All right. Well, I have one more smart sizer for the script, and then we have some presets. So smart sizer is something we do already have. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but I have updated it quite a bit actually. So let's do this. Let's say you have a text. I'm going to say Merry Christmas. Oops. And then we're going to have just an image, something like this. Let's say this image happened to be like very small. I don't know, something like that, right? And then maybe we even have a shape. Let's do some kind of shape, like I'm creating a mask. No, that's not what I want. All right, let's create a shape. There we go. Maybe it's, I don't know, something like this, right? Okay, so we have a shape. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm just trying to set this up. Now, if you go to smart size, and if you select this one, that one, shift select this one, so I have both of them selected, whatever you select last, that's what it's going to grab the size from. So you say, hey, adjust everything I have selected, all the children, to the last selected layer, either by width, boom, it just does it, but with height, it will give the same height. By the way, let me set the anchor point so it's, okay, there you go. So select these, that's the last one. So width, height is going to be all the same heights. You can say, give me the width, but proportionally, scale everything proportionally. Boom, it scales proportionally, right? Do the same thing, height proportionally, or you can do the same, exactly the same size as my selection. So you get the concept. I mean, you can quickly say like, boom, do it like this, change it up, right? There you have, or maybe instead of this one, let's say, what if it was something like that and you just need for it to extend all the way? Then you just say, boom, it extends it, and very handy. So I find this one very handy. Now, obviously it has more options. You can click here. You could do it based on comp width. If you select all of this and do that, it's going to do comp width. You can say, what is it, like based on first selected, last selected layer, smallest layer, largest, reset everything. Anyway, you can also add margins. So for example, maybe I want to add margins to this, like a 50 pixel margin right here. Boom. It will kind of like give you a margin. sky is the limit what you can do with this. Now, this one, when you do it like that, it just does the scale property of your layer. It doesn't apply any expressions, but sometimes you want for it to apply expressions, especially when you do text. So let me undo this for a second. So let's say you created this design and you want for it to always, like when someone types something, you want it to be locked in based on the width, right? So for that, you would just go to Smart Sizer, and I'll have to explain this more. Just activate the code. And this time when you say based on width proportionally, well, make sure you don't have margin. Okay, boom. And now when you type, it will be fine. But when you reach the corner, then it's just going to do this. And with the anchor tool, you can kind of lock it in where you want it to be. For example, you can go over here to the anchor point and say, hey, let's do the code, keep it at the top. And then now when you go to Smart Sizer right here, say, hey, let's lock this in on width. So now when it's going to scale based on that corner. So see, I mean, sometimes you want to scale over there, but then maybe sometimes you want to say, hey, let's do it based on the bottom corner. So all of these are not flashy tools, but they're definitely useful, and they would definitely save you a lot of time. So that's Smart Sizer. I'll do more stuff. I mean, you can even do it based on not necessarily selection. So let's say you selected all of these and you say, hey, I want all of them to be exactly 500 pixels. And then you do it proportionally. Boom, they're going to be exactly 500 pixels. I don't know, some of you are watching this and you're like, this is very useful, I can use this. And anyway, so all of these tools are not out yet. I'm still working on them. I'm finalizing everything. As you can see, they work just fine. I just need to tune things up and test them. I haven't tried it on Macs yet, so we'll see what that looks like. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but those are the scripts. Let me show you some of the presets in here that I have. So presets, I have some more here. Let me get rid of all of these. So we have this smart cursor, and this one is so easy. It's simple, but do you know how much time it takes to create a cursor and have it animated and all that stuff? I mean, I use cursors a lot for presentations, and then this one, just you drag it in, it creates a cursor with all these controls. You can adjust the size, you can adjust, hand or arrow. You can quickly kind of animate this, and when you need it, you can keyframe hand or arrow, or however you want to do it. You can set it up with expressions to where it triggers it, and then you can swap the colors. You can change the colors to whatever color you want. You can adjust the stroke on both. It keeps it consistent. So yeah, it's just, I'm calling it Smart Cursor, and it's such a simple thing, but I have a feeling a lot of you will use this one. It's super handy. All right, let me delete all of this. All right, and next we have, what else? Highlighter. So this one is based on a code or expression that Dan Eberts created, and let me show you what it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we have some kind of a text. Now, if I want to change the color of 4, I would just change it in here, and no brainer. But you can't really do that in Premiere. Like if you're creating a Mogurt, you're really limited to, you can't really select things and change the color of it. But if you do this, I'm going to go to Open Essential Graphics. Let's do this. Let's drag this in and watch this. So now if I go over here to the preset and apply it, and if I change, as you can see, it gives you kind of like the fill and the stroke color, and it also gives you like tags. So you want to do it based on square brackets, maybe curly brackets, whatever it is. I'm going to do square brackets. So whatever I type inside the square brackets, that's what's going to change to the fill color. Now you can set it up. If you have stroke, it's going to do the same thing for the stroke color. So let's say 3, I'm going to put square bracket in front of it, and then right behind it right here. And when I click away, as you can see, it changed it to blue. You can do it multiple times. You can do it on 1. So that comes in very handy as you create Mogurts. I've done that with Fox Sports. I knew I had to figure something out to where things had to change certain colors and stuff. That's what I used. I came across this expression a long time ago, and it's based on Dan Eberts. So Dan, you should check out his work. It's motionscript.com, I believe. I'll include in the link below. Dan is like a legend in this stuff, and I just came across this expression. I don't even know where I found it, probably on creativecow.com or .net. And I've used it, and I converted it into a preset, so I'll make that one available as well. So that's a highlighter. Now, it's not something you probably would use every day, but for that one time that you do need it, this one comes in very handy. And again, you can change the color. I mean, you can drag this property into this Essential Graphics, and whatever you drag it in here, you can change in Premiere. right? So you can change it in Premiere and it should change it. I don't know why it isn't. Wait, oh, never mind. I've dragged the wrong one. Let me undo this. It needs to be this one. There you go. So now when you change it, it should change it. So you can basically create your own custom menu to use in Premiere, and people can easily change the color of it by putting tags around them. And notice you don't see the square brackets because it eliminates it automatically. So yeah, that's highlighter. Let me undo all of this. I have quite a bit of stuff to show. I know it's a long video, but I'm excited about it. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? So we have the highlighter, we have patterns. Now, smart patterns, essentially it's those patterns that I've created years ago that I just converted them into smart patterns, because again, they're smart in a way because you can adjust them. For example, you can go over here and they are shape layers. You can select, let me collapse it all at once. You can select like the size, you can move the size and it's basically, you can move it around and it will adjust everything. Yeah, you definitely should play with this. So smart patterns, it's just a bunch of different patterns that I created that I use in the background. This one, again, I'll make it available, but you can download it now actually for free. I think it's just called something patterns. Google something free patterns from Ukramedia, but I will make these available soon and it will replace the old one. So anyway, you can get all these interesting patterns and use them in your projects. So that's called smart patterns. Everything's smart here. All right, then we have smart scroll. And this one is quite simple. You just type whatever you want. And let's change the color of it to something different. And let's go to smart scroll. So you just apply this and it does on, based on in and out of your layer. So as you can see, it's going to scroll right here. You got like a little control here. So it's going to go from bottom to top. So from the bottom all the way to the top. It doesn't matter what you type. It will always adjust. Like this is perfect for credits or any kind of messages you want to display. So watch this. So it will automatically scroll at the bottom to the top. Now, right now it's kind of fast. So if you make it longer, then it'd be slower. Again, it's based on in and out points. So then you can do like this. You can also type it like that, and you can make it to go top to bottom. So it's going to start at the top. You just basically kind of reverse it. You can go from left to right. So maybe you have like a message, like a very long message to scroll. Now, the beautiful thing is if you set it to left to right, you can still move it on Y, right? You locked in on X, but on Y, you can still adjust it anywhere you want. It will move it. If you set it to right to left, again, you can adjust it anywhere. If you set it to like a top, from top to bottom, again, you can put it anywhere on the Y. Maybe it's just a small credits that you can type, and as you add, you can have as many of them as you want. It will automatically start at nothing and go to nothing. So it's called Smart Scroll, and it's not out yet, but I will release it. I'm done with this one. Again, I gotta have all the time to create the promo videos. It takes a long time to just release something properly. So that's Smart Scroll, and it's pretty easy to understand. It's a preset. I'm thinking about maybe converting into script with the arrows or something you click, but maybe it doesn't need that. So maybe I'll just keep it as presets, like as a preset. And then we have a stopwatch, smart stopwatch. So you can just drag it in. It gives you a stopwatch, and it's very simple. You can say, hey, I just want maybe the, let's do minutes, no hours, no milliseconds. So maybe something like this. You can, again, have all these kinds of control. You can, let's see, set a different start, maybe start at 50 and end at 0. So let's see, it's going to go all the way until you hit 0. Maybe you can start at 0 and go to 50. And then it will start at 0 and go to 50. Again, if you want to have just seconds, then you'll see seconds. You can change your own font, right? Wherever the character, you can change your size, different fonts. You get the idea. So you can speed up the time. Like right now, it does it exactly based on the current time, but you can speed it up and make it go faster. So that's stopwatch. I think a lot of you will find this one useful. Let's see, what else do we have? I believe that's almost the last one. We do have smart text. Now this one is more for mogurts. And what I mean by that, let's say you have some kind of text. And sometimes as you create mogurts, you have to, like when you apply this, it has all these controls. And like a font size, you can activate it. Once you activate it, you can only control the size in here. You can no longer control it in here. So the reason why this is so useful, because these are the things that you can drag into like essential graphics. And these are useful for, again, Mogerts. Sometimes you want to adjust all these like a tracking. You can adjust this value and you can move that into Mogert. You can also, it has a repeater, so you can repeat this. Like for example, what if you have like a Ukramedia.com and you can repeat it multiple times. So that can, you know, it does come in handy for some things. You can repeat it on the Y and you can adjust. So this, yeah, you can adjust it in here. So, and it does have the highlighter built in as well. So that's not something to put on your reel but it definitely saves you time from dragging all these things, and you can instantly disable them if you want, and then you can have control of any of these in here. So, but again, that's for creating Mogerts for Premiere Pro. So those are the scripts and presets. Now I am also working on something else. I know I got a lot going on. I'm also working on a smart wipe. So let me drag this in. So it's probably going to be a Mogert more than After Effects project, which I'll include both, but it's something to use for Mogert. So you can instantly go over here. You have all these options. Well, I guess it'll be in the, yeah, because it's a Mogert. So you'll see this in Premiere. So you can say, hey, give me a linear wipe side to side. So then it will give side to side. You know, basically right at this point, it will be fully covered. So you can switch between different transitions and whatnot. You can extend the length and it could be slower. So, but then you can also adjust the angle. So you can say, you know, go this way, or, you know, so you can adjust this angle at, oh, that's not what I meant. So at any time you can adjust which way you want for it to come in. So it's very smart. So it's a smart wipe. You can change the colors. You can reverse them. You can change it to whatever color you want. Then you can go to inward. So it's going to go inward. So kind of boom, animates in. You can again adjust the angle. You can go outward. So it's the same concept, but it just goes out. So you can create all kinds of custom looking transitions in no time. You can change the color. Let's do something like this. I don't know. Keep it in the blues, just to show you that you do have option of that. So maybe something like that. You can reverse it. Anyway, all of these things you can adjust in Premiere. And then we have radio clockwise. So now you can have something like radio. Let me undo the colors because these colors are terrible. So radio, as you can see, you can do something radio. Again, with this one, you can adjust the angle, how you want for it to come in. So this one is clockwise, or yeah, clockwise. So boom, it kind of animates like this and gets you from A to B. That can be very helpful. And then you can go counterclockwise. So then it can go the other way. And again, you can adjust this. And then you have inward. Basically, it's all going to go inward like this. All right, well, that's the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching it. I do realize it was kind of long, but as you saw, I had a lot of different tools to share with you guys. And I actually had one more thing I wanted to share with you, this modular third web style, but I decided to skip it for this video because it was getting a bit long, and we'll do it another day. But I want to thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I would like to hear your feedback. Any of the tools that I mentioned, if there is any kind of like a feature you want to see added in any of these tools that I've mentioned, definitely let me know in the comments below. Any kind of feedback would be definitely very useful. So I want to thank you for that in advance. And if you are not a part of our mentoring group on Facebook, you should definitely join. It's totally free. Go to ukramedia.com/community. I'll be sure to include the link at the bottom of this video. But in the meantime, my name is Sergey Prakhnevsky, and this is ukramedia.com.